Okay, I just got back from the movie theater, watching Cosmos Part 2, and I'm going to talk about it. So, um, spoiler warning, I guess, but it's really not because there's really not a whole lot besides, that wasn't in the comics. But, um, so if you don't know the ending of the comics, then it's a spoiler warning. If you know the end of the comics, and you know what happens in the whole second half of that stuff, then this isn't really a spoiler because you already know what's going to happen. But I will talk about a few things that um, uh, I just want to get off my chest. Um, I'll talk about the good part, all the good parts of it. It followed the comic mostly. They added some stuff to the final part. And I double checked the comics for this, okay? Because I have them here. So, because there was a couple things that I didn't remember off the top of my head, and I thought I need to look in the comics, double check the facts before I, open my mouth. So they added Sailor Saturn's Science Glaive Surprise attack, like a full attack animation for it. Not just, the sudden thing that she did in Eternal. They gave her a full, attack scene with it. Which, by the way, I double checked was not in the comic books. Which I look for the exact scene because I know all the comics, right? So, I can tell you right away exactly what it, where exactly it is. And sorry about the screen, real quick. I accidentally hit the cable on my webcam. So if that gets pulled out, then there's no mic sound, right? So I just needed to check to make sure audio was still recording. Okay. Um. So we got a full Sailor Saturn attack, um, which was nice. Um, we didn't get, well, at the very beginning we get the Starlight's transformations, but not with the song from the first part, which was original for this and for them in this particular version of the Stars arc. It was a different song. We got a full transformation for Sailor Moon into Eternal Sailor Moon. We got a fully animated Sailor Kakyu transformation and both of her attacks, which is nice. What else did we get that was kind of nice? The ending wedding scene was after the credits, and having that animated was really nice. I thought it was a nice touch because the comic books, which I actually have the final part, because I have Kanzenban, so I have the what is it? I have the actual, you know, full, I can look at it. The scene was let's see. They got all the costumes right for the other characters, like the wedding gowns for uh, uh, how it's in the comics. So they were basically animated, which I really liked. I thought that was like having that animated is just a really nice scene. I can't lie, that's a really nice scene to have animated. It followed the comics basically, outside of the Sailor Saturn thing, because Sailor Kakyu has a transformation in the comics, so they just put that there. Um, the pace was still pretty quick, because actually the second movie is shorter than the first one, and so the pace was still kind of going forward pretty quickly because like the enemy other Seira Senshi are kind of there, right? And they get wiped out pretty easily. Um, we got a full Sailor Star song opening, which actually, including the outers in it, just oh my god. I as much as I like the Sailor Star song from Sailor Stars, the old one, the fact that they completely ignored the outers in that opening pissed the hell out of me. And the fact that this time we got it with the outers in it, it's perfect. Of course, it also has the starlights in there too, but you know, that's not really that important. The fact we got the outers in the opening was nice. All of the characters, once Sailor Galaxia revives them to attack Sailor Moon, they all get to do their attacks. Pluto does Kronos Typhoon, and we get a full animation for it. Saturn does the Science Clave surprise again. Although it's called like Science Clave Galactica surprise or something like that. And then of course Uranus and Neptune's new the third attacks, we get those again, but it's Galactica Space Turbulence or something like that. And then like Galactica Violent Tide or something like that. But that's in the comics. That's nothing new. But just having another chance of seeing them animated on screen was really nice. Now I want to talk about something that bothered me because I had a feeling this was going to happen, and I was completely right about it. Was that when Sailor Kakyu is killed, because of course everybody knows she dies. When Sailor Moon is holding her and it's right when she's about to die, the scene was done perfectly. That they gave it enough breathing room, I thought, and it felt like emotional. Versus what happened to the Starlights. The Starlights were just boom gone, right? But at least Kakyu got something special out of it. But they censored it. In the original, in the comic version, she gets stabbed right through the back. And you can actually see the blood drawn. You can see the staff of the enemy like going through Kakyu, right? That is the original in the comic version, okay? This one was changed where it doesn't go through her and basically just like pounds her in the back and like basically insinuates that her spine is broken or something stupid like that. Even though she was still able to move her hand, which would make no sense. But I knew they were gonna censor that scene, and I was hoping they wouldn't because it's a movie. I was really hoping it didn't get censored, and it did, and I'm pissed about that because that scene is a powerful scene. Even when I read it in the comics for the first time, when I saw her get run through like that, I'm just like, holy shit. Sailor Moon is bloody. Wow. And of course they screw it up. So because, the Stars arc was written much later, right? It was like 96 or something like that in Nakayoshi or something like that. And because the original Sailor Stars series is not really based on like the comic book version at all. It's just using the names of the characters and stuff like that. It's very, very different. They didn't have that scene in Kakyohime doesn't even appear in the in the old one. It was written completely differently than the comics, so that there wasn't a whole lot of overlap with it, right? But the fact that they and because of the period in which this was written, there were like in comic books they can get away with this stuff, but movies at the time they could, but there were changes to Japanese law that for movies or whatever geared towards certain age groups, there had to be certain things changed, and they did that for this, and it drives me crazy because that means that it is not completely comic accurate. When the director and all of these people are saying it's completely 100% accurate, they're lying to us. Okay, and I think the fact that they actually re-show the scene of Sailor Moon in the original arc in the Moon Kingdom, where she basically, kills herself after Endymion is dead, right? Because of the grief she just ran herself through. They even show that scene, but they don't do it for Kakyu. They don't have, because even in the comics, they don't actually show Kakyu bleeding all over the ground, right? It's just that the fact that they changed that scene and the director and the staff and people are saying that it's 100% comic accurate is complete bullshit. And so that pissed me off. I was like, when that scene popped up, I'm like, okay, are they going to do it? Are they actually going to do it properly, or are they going to screw it up? And they screwed it up just as I had feared. So, I will say that let's see where let me see this, because I this is one scene I forgot to check. Oh, okay. So that was comic accurate. The scene where the Sailor Quartet shows up, or after Sailor Cosmos appears, right? Sailor Quartet was really good, by the way. I thought that the way because they did it 100% to the comics and how they appear with Chibi Moon and stuff was done perfectly. I thought their attack was animated nicely. Yes, of course, because it's CG, and I mentioned this other places. It's CG. It's still going to be garbage either way, but because that's all that these cost-cutting groups want, these companies want to do to cut costs, because let's make things as cheap as possible. I still don't like it because, CG made animation just doesn't have life in it, which I've mentioned before, and I mentioned when other people are commenting on previous videos I made for the review for part 1, and I mentioned it there too. But so I always qualify these things with, yes, it's CG, so it automatically gets a minus to it because it's CG drawn. There's no hand drawn stuff in there, so of course that's a minus to it. So we don't need to talk about that. I am completely on the side of anybody who hates the way the CG is done in this. I have no qualms about it. I will not argue the point because I agree with anybody who says that. But for what it wasn't bad. I just thought the Kakyu Hime death was done poorly, in the sense that they didn't do it completely comic accurate with her getting completely run through. Basically, that's about it. That's all I can really say about it, because, it was basically the comic books. And outside of, adding Saturn's attack, like a full animation for it, which was really, really cool. Basically, outside of that, it was basically just as it was. So I'll just say there were some good things about it. The bad things about it really bother me because I've said it enough times already about Kakyu Hime's death. But at least after the fact, they gave it breathing room, which is something that didn't happen in the first half, where it didn't have enough breathing room for a lot of the character, emotional scenes. Whereas this one actually had more breathing room for her death. So I thought that was done fine, but that is also comic accurate. That scene does take a lot of time, but they did it properly and they didn't rush through it. Um, Now to talk about what everybody is complaining about or happy about, depending on what your opinion of it is Kitagawa Keiko doing the voice of Sailor Cosmos. She did really well. I'm not gonna lie. I think she did a good job. Because her vocal quality fits Sailor Cosmos's thinking, okay? Because she's basically admitting she's a coward and that she ran away from a major fight with Sailor Chaos because she just couldn't do it anymore. There was too many people that she lost due to the long battle between her and Chaos. And I think that her vocal quality and her vocal tone, as much as I will say that Mitsui, she should have done the voice for it because it's Sailor Moon, I will say that Kitagawa Keiko did a good job, and I'm not gonna, dump on her over it because I think that for what the character is, I think her vocal quality works with the character, so I don't want to hear any complaining. However, I do agree that she, just like a lot of Japanese, people who watch her in TV dramas and movies and things over here, say she can't act because she can't have any kind of emotion in her speaking. I will agree that her ability to show emotion even in this particular situation is not up to par for what I think it should have been, considering Sailor Cosmos' everything. But I will say vocal quality, I will agree that it was fine. It's not this like abomination like having Watanabe Naomi do Zirconia or whatever, or Zirconia or whatever her name is, in Eternal, which was awful, and having the actress Nanao do the voice of Nihilenia was awful. She can't act for shit. So I'm not gonna jump too much on Kitagawa Keiko about this. I will say I agree that she doesn't have enough emotion in her voice. However, it wasn't an abomination. Okay, so I'm not gonna, jump all over her for that, alright? I'm not gonna complain like a lot of people are probably going to, but, whatever. People are gonna bitch about everything they can, so, whatever, right? But I will say the movie is worth one watch, and then wait for it to come out on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, right? I don't think it's worth more than a single viewing in the theaters. I think it, you watch it once, you get the emotions, you hear the voices, you have the things running in your head, and then you can read the comics later. I think it's just better to read the comics. At least you'll be happy and you can let your own imagination create the voices for the characters or whatever, right? So, I think if you have the opportunity to watch it in the movie theaters, give it one viewing and then wait for it to come out on home release. That's my absolute opinion of it. Just to have the fun of going to see it in a theater is nice, especially because the theater I went to, because it's opening night, it was quite full. It wasn't completely sold out. There were a couple empty seats here and there, but at least there was a large group of people there. Mostly women, of course, but, there were some guys there, me being one of them. And I'm not gonna, and just being in that environment where there was quite a few people there was nice. I'll say that. But if if you do have the opportunity to see it in the movie theater, see it once and be done with it. I don't think it's worth more than that. It's not worth the money to go see it more than that in the movie theater. Um, and I have one little gripe that's not directly related to the movie itself, but it's a gripe that I had. When I got to the movie theater, they have these like acrylic, dioramas that they're selling. Well, all of them were sold out by the time I got there, and today is opening day. So you can tell a bunch of people bought them, and I went and checked on Mercari just because I wanted to be sure. And sure enough, everybody bought like 3 or 4 of them, and they started like reselling them on online websites. So that basically prevented people from actually buying them at the movie theater. So I just bought a sticker set and a set of like A4 size clear files, like general printer paper size clear files. It was a set of 3. One of them had the movie poster on it. One of them had the inners, and the other had the outers. I wanted something with Kakuhime on it, but they didn't really have anything nice with her on there, so I was basically stuck with what I got. But you know, um, you know, shit happens, I guess. But that's my review slash view of this movie. Overall, it was alright. It, of course, because the scenes are emotional, of course I'm gonna cry in the movie because it's just emotional. But was it to the level of something like the first time I saw Macross Delta Zeta Raibu and when saw Freya die? Oh, that it. I cried the first time, and I cried harder the second time. So, but I don't think this is worth a second viewing in the movie there. So, Delta, I saw it 3 times in 3 days, but for this, I think one time's enough. I'm waiting for the home release, and then I'll just get that or find other methods once those things come out. But yeah, that's basically my opinion. It was all right. It followed the comics faithfully, outside of adding Saturn's attack to it and changing Kaku's death, so it's not bloody, which bothers me. But other than that, it was basically just the comics. So if you have the comics at home, like I said with the first part, it's if you got the comics, you know what the comics are. There's not really anything really added to it outside of like having like an animated Starlight's transformation, and also animated Outer's third attacks kind of thing. If you want that, fine, you can watch it. But other than, and also the new openings, like the Moonlight Densetsu opening, and also the Sailor Star Song opening, really, that's about it. That's all I can really say about it. It was all right, and I just want to be honest with people. And like I as much as I like Hayashibara Megumi, I think that part of what she did in she was really good in the first part, but this part I don't think she was as good. And that I don't think that's on her. I think that's just I think it's just the dialogue, and she wasn't really totally like. I don't think she was 100% into it, to be honest with you. Um, Compared to like Mizuki Nana, who she did Kaku really good. So, um, uh, so I think you know that's what it is. So I sorry I can't say more than that. Go see it once, enjoy the intro, and then enjoy the wedding scene at the end after the credits, and there you go. That's basically, and watch Sailor Saturn's attack if you want to. That's all I can say about it, really. Other than that, it's just kind of there. So I won't be seeing it again. I'll be reading my comics. So there you go. But there you go. I got the review out tonight because I wanted to get it out and have the thoughts in my head right away. And because, with the last review that I did, it was still like a few days after the fact. So I wanted to jump on this one as quickly as possible. So just get it done. And now I'm going to head to bed because I got to get up for work tomorrow morning. So, that's a review of this movie. It's a 5 out of 10 if you want to put it on a scale of 10. It's just there. I can't give it a plus because the animation is what it is, and the only pluses I can really give to it are the opening and Saturn's attack. So that if that's all you can add to it to make it a better movie or something like that, then sorry. That it's not, it doesn't balance out right. So whatever. So that'll be all for this video, and when I get some more time to review some stuff, if you have requests, drop them in the comments. If you want me to review something, if you want my ideas, I'll if I have it here, if you want me to do a review of like Jigok Shoujo or something, because I have all of Jigok Shoujo, I can do a full review of that if you want me to. There's lots of stuff I could do reviews of if you want to, or talk about certain stuff, or just whine and complain about stuff. But actually, I should probably do a roundup review of Birdie Wing and Kimetsu, the latest season, because I watched all of it, and I have a lot of thoughts on both of those. So I guess I'll get to those eventually, but this is a review of this movie, so see you next time.